Flight 229, you're clear for takeoff.
Just like a flight plan, you have to know where you're going and how you will get there when you plan for retirement. Let Ryan Fleming help you chart out a course for your retirement with his intimate knowledge of financial planning and the airline industry. It's time for the Pilot's Advisor.
Thanks for joining us today on the Pilot's Advisor. I'm Walter Storholt alongside Ryan Fleming, financial advisor at Fleming Financial Group. Find us online at FlemingFG.com. Ryan is the author of The Pilot's Advisor, Why Pilots Today Need Specific Financial Advice. I did a little digging, and this is kind of interesting. So to write the Chinese word for crisis, you combine the elements of two different Chinese characters, okay? One character means dangerous, while the other means opportunity. Translated directly into English, it actually means opportunity riding on a dangerous wind. Now that's pretty cool. Like in terms of sentences, that's a neat sentence, right? Opportunity riding on a dangerous wind. That's where crisis and opportunity meet. And so where we can kind of view this in the financial world is how crises might actually be opportunities, things that we can take advantage of, that we can, take the right approach to a situation, the right perspective, and turn maybe a negative or a problem into a positive. So let's talk about where we see this sometimes in the financial realm, Ryan. And I think one really important area is when it comes to the empty nest. You know, for some parents, that empty nest stage of life is a joyous time, but for a lot of families, it comes with a lot of sadness, I think, for mom and dad. You know, that can be a tough period of time to go through. That can be the crisis moment, but what about maybe where the opportunity lies?
Yeah, I look at the empty nest as a very interesting stage of life because it's a lot of changes, obviously. I don't think anybody really wants their kids to leave, but they really want their kids to leave as well. And sometimes mom and dad have different feelings about that. And so I think from a relationship standpoint, you need to be doing a lot of communication for what the changes are going to be in your life. But from a financial standpoint, I'd say the empty nest stage, it's usually good news from a financial standpoint. You no longer probably have, you probably do have some college bills to pay because the kids might be off at college. But you don't have all the, your kids eating out of your house, friends showing up eating. So your food bills probably go down, some other expenses if you boot your kids off the cell phone bill or you're not paying their car insurance. So I guess it really kind of depends how far into the empty nest stage we are. But it can be a great time to save more aggressively than you have before.
It's a great point that you've got the opportunity to do more saving when the kids are out of the house. You're getting a lot of things that were on the payroll off the payroll at least, or at least the light is at the end of the tunnel on a lot of those items.
Sadly, I'd say in today's society, we have a little bit harder time. What's that movie, Failure to Launch? So maybe your kids do move out of the house, but for some weird reason, they're still on the cell phone bill and you're still paying their car insurance. And oh, by the way, you're still paying for college for them. What's going on?
Yeah, that's a great point. I don't know why some people, I guess they just enjoy staying on the parental the parental side of things and having the parents cover everything. Boy, Ryan, I couldn't get off my parents' cell phone bill fast enough, and I just wore everything as a badge of honor to be able to take it off, solo for as fast as I could in school and then even out of school. Like the first time I was able to tell my dad, you keep the 20 when I was home, visiting from college or something like that. No, Dad, you keep the 20. I don't need it actually this time. There was a transition period where he still forced it on me and said, it's okay, you take it anyway. But then eventually I finally was, no, truly, you keep the 20. It's all right. I can cover my gas money to come down and visit you,
Well, and I think that, having that desire to get off the teat is something that I had as well. But now I think a lot of kids try to take their parents for all they're worth. And I have this conversation with my wife already, and our kids are only 11 and 8. But, I love my kids and I love them so much that when they're 18, they're getting booted out of the house. Mm-hmm. And yep. I want them to be and I don't want to pay for anything else. Like I want them to learn and go through the school of hard knocks and learn how to, to survive in society. And it's because I love them. And I think that, I just don't want to be one of those parents that enable them to not, move on with their lives and become independent, positive members of society.
It's a great way to put it. Love can come in many forms, and sometimes it's in the tough love and in the kind of throwing you in the deep end of the pool and learn how to swim. Here you go. And that's
you're good.
Sometimes the best way.
Well, and that's a great way to look at it, because I want to throw them in the deep end, and most of the time they'll go, oh, okay, I can swim. I got this figured out. Now, if they sink to the bottom, I'm still not going to jump in and go get them. I'll wait a few seconds, and if it's not looking good and they're looking up at me and not even trying to swim from the bottom, then yes, I as a parent would go save them. But I think most people thrown in the deep end react and start trying to tread the water and save their lives. So that's a great way to look at it. But I don't know. I look at it as, because I love them, I want to help them, and sometimes making it life real helps, give them that little kick they need.
Well, hey there. We hope you're enjoying listening to the Pilot's Advisor today. Just wanted to take a quick moment from the show to remind you that if you have any questions ever about what Ryan talks about on the program, need any assistance with your financial planning, need some guidance to get to and through retirement, or whatever financial questions might be on your mind, don't ever hesitate to reach out. The simple way to get in touch with Ryan is to pick up the phone and call or text 843-475-3038. Again, that's 843-475-3038. You can also find Ryan online at FlemingFG.com. That's FlemingFG.com. And as always, we put contact information to get in touch with Ryan in the description or the show notes section of the program. So just check it out on whatever app you're using, and it's easy to get in touch with Ryan. All right, now back to the show. All right, let's switch gears. Another situation where we view it as a crisis. We saw this in 2020, of course, with a huge market crash. Watching it crash can be very distressing, especially last year with a pandemic kind of tied to it. And that downturn could then affect your ability to retire the way you want. It has emotional and financial implications. Hard to see a lot of opportunity and positivity in a market crash.
Well, and I had many, many conversations, because those that retired last year, it was a horrible situation. You've saved your whole life, you decide to retire, and you're going to start pulling off your 401k plan, and the market crashes and goes down 30%. Very, very difficult situation, very emotional, very little that you can do about it at that time unless you had some safe, short-term money on hand. But for the individual that's not retiring, then it's a huge opportunity. And I actually looked at, had those conversations. It's like, hey, you don't need this money anytime soon. This is a great buying opportunity. So if you have cash to invest, it's the time to pull it out from under the mattress and get in at a lower price. And there's many people that made a lot of money off this crash. And it's all about, once again, having a plan and not being emotional and taking the proper action. And I think that putting perspective on things, talking people off the ledge and kind of showing them what the true move is in a circumstance like that is something that I try to focus on as an advisor, because you can't cry over the spilt milk. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. And as we teach many, many times with the academics of things, you can't try to time the market because it's totally unpredictable. So you have to react in an unemotional manner with what you have in front of you.
Have you ever wanted to learn more about the academic approach to investing and saving and planning for retirement that Ryan talks about here on The Pilot's Advisor? Well, if so, go visit pilotsadvisor.com. pilotsadvisor.com. You can watch a quick webinar on the academic approach to investing. It'll show you how not to speculate and gamble with your money. It's all based on Nobel Prize winning research. Only takes about 10 minutes to get through the video and watch it. Going to be worth your time, I promise you. Go check it out right now, pilotsadvisor.com. It's a webinar that covers that academic approach to investing. pilotsadvisor.com. All right, back to the show. What about for folks who are in the realm of having long-term care insurance, and all of a sudden they start to get this, bill in the mail that their premiums are going through, a significant increase, and so we get some insurance rate hikes from a long-term care perspective. For folks who are probably, retired or approaching retirement and not wanting to increase their budgets very much at that point in time, that can be very distressing and crisis.
Yeah, I think it could be very frustrating. And, when you see your long-term care insurance premiums significantly increase, it probably is the kick in the butt that you need, to start exploring other options or actually going insurance shopping. I like to kind of transition that one into many of the pilots I work with were veterans or in the military, and so they do most of their banking with USAA, and they have their car insurance with USAA. Well, USAA used to be fantastic, and over the years, they've brought on more people, which has actually increased the problem, the amount of accidents they have. And where they used to have low insurance premiums, those premiums have really kind of creeped up over the years. And so many of the members of USA are very upset, but it's kind of that kick in the butt where now people are going and doing a lot of insurance shopping because they're starting to see their cash flow have a little bit of issues. And, I don't look at that as a major opportunity, but it's very important to kind of look at your cash flow and look at what your premiums are on your retirement planning, or even your insurance, whether that's homeowners insurance or car insurance. It's a good thing to go insurance shopping every year or two.
It's a great point, Ryan, as well. And always remember that you can go shopping, that there are other options out there. You're never locked into just one thing. And it's a good lesson for a lot of things in the financial realm. One more example here, Ryan. Let's talk about getting laid off. Perhaps getting laid off or downsized or forced into an early retirement even can be one of the most stressful events people go through in life, and has an obvious, I think, emotional turmoil as well as a whole financial element to it.
Well, I think this one's near and dear to our heart when we talk about getting laid off in this past year, because with the pandemic, many airline pilots were facing furlough, or they were offered to just kind of go away for a reduced paycheck. And just as an example, let's say an airline would offer you 50 hours where they might normally get 80 or 85 hours. They'd have to offer you 50 hours of pay to just kind of go away for 5 or 6 months. So where the situation initially looked like, a really, really bad thing for many individuals, it actually created a great opportunity where they were collecting 50 some hours of pay, and then they just went and worked at the reserve job or some other thing that they wanted to do at the time, or just taking a break, from making the donuts and going and flying airplanes every single day. So it's not, like many things in life, it's not something that we would have chosen, but after that is presented in front of us, sometimes it creates an opportunity.
All great points here, Ryan. So if you are maybe going through one of these life events, one of these things where there's a crisis moment and you're not quite sure where the opportunity is or how to turn that into a positive, or how it should maybe recalibrate how you view things in the financial and retirement planning realm, don't hesitate to reach out to Ryan, have a conversation about these things with him. You can call or text 843-475-3038 if you want to get in touch. That's 843-475-3038, or go online to FlemingFG.com. That's FlemingFG.com. And we'll put the contact info in the description of today's show so it's easy for you to find as well. Ryan, thank you for the help and the guidance on the show today, where crisis and opportunity meet. Good to put some positive spin and direction on some of these moments in life that, throw us off track a little bit, but shouldn't keep us down for long.
Well, and I love that word perspective. What a great word.
Yep.
You can control the destiny of any situation. You can't control the situation, but you can control how you react to it.
There you go. That's very good. Well said. Good food for thought to end today's show on. For Ryan Fleming, I'm Walter Storholt. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us and to join us, and we'll look forward to another great conversation with everybody soon. Join us next time for another edition of The Pilot's Advisor. You've been listening to The Pilot's Advisor, featuring Ryan Fleming, a financial advisor at Fleming Financial Group, serving clients worldwide, but based out of Charleston, South Carolina. If you have any questions for Ryan on what we've talked about on today's show, maybe a future topic idea, or want to talk more about getting a complimentary review of your financial plan, here's the best ways to get in touch. You can go online to the website FlemingFG.com. That's FlemingFG.com. You can also email Ryan. It's simply ryan@FlemingFG.com. Or you can call or text to get in touch. 843-475-3038 is the number. That's 843-475-3038. Thanks for listening to The Pilot's Advisor, and don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcasting apps. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and many more locations. So whatever app you like to use, search for The Pilot's Advisor podcast today and subscribe so you never miss an episode.
Information is for illustrative purposes only and does not constitute tax, investment, or legal advice. Always consult with a qualified investment, legal, or tax professional before taking any action.